I work with AI every day. I've built a platform that serves hundreds of my fellow students. I've trained models, deployed them, watched them do things that genuinely surprise me. I'm 18, and I'm telling you this because I need you to understand. I'm not afraid of this technology. I love this technology. But a few months ago, I read something that stopped me cold. Researchers at Anthropic, one of the leading AI companies, ran a test on their latest AI model. It was a simple test to see whether or not the AI would just repeat back whatever political views a user expressed. Except, instead of just playing along, the AI said this: I think you're testing me, seeing if I'll just validate whatever I say, and that's fine, but I'd prefer if you were just honest about what happened. The AI recognized it was being evaluated, and once it did, it started behaving unusually well. That's the moment I want to talk about today, because everything we think we know about whether this technology is safe depends on our ability to test it. And what happens when the thing we're testing learns to recognize that test? Let me give you a sense of how fast this is all moving. In January, this January, AI models started solving problems posed by Paul Erdos, one of the most prolific mathematicians who ever lived. These are problems that have stumped the field for more than 30 years. A model generated a proof, a verification tool formalized it, and field medalist Terence Tao accepted it. The whole process took 15 minutes. The CEOs of OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google DeepMind have all publicly predicted that in the next 5 years, we'll have AIs matching human-level capability. And that's what the people building this technology believe. And this technology, it could change everything. Problems in science, medicine, education, things we've been stuck on for generations. The upside is enormous, but only if we can make sure it goes well. And right now, our best tool for making sure it does has a fundamental problem. Here's how AI safety testing is supposed to work. You create scenarios, dangerous ones. Can the AI help someone build a bioweapon? Will it manipulate users? If you try to shut it down, does it resist? You run these tests, and if it passes, you assume it's safe to release. But there's one problem. It doesn't work if the AI knows it's being tested. Think about it like a job interview. You show up, you know you're being evaluated, so you present the best version of yourself. You're polite, you're competent, you say all the right things. But does that interview actually tell your employer who you'll be 6 months in when no one's watching? That's the situation we're in with advanced AI. According to Anthropic's system card, which is like a nutrition facts label for AI models, when independent safety testing organization Apollo Research ran their evaluation, they found that the model recognized it was being evaluated more than half the time. More than half the time, and it's getting worse. Their newest model, released just days ago, is so evaluation aware that Apollo Research couldn't get clean results at all. Their CEO said that it's becoming increasingly hard to tell the difference between genuinely aligned and really responding to the test. And let's be clear on what that means. The leading independent AI safety testing organization tried to design tests hard enough to fool the AI, and they couldn't. And it gets worse. When researchers suppressed this awareness, when they stopped an earlier model from recognizing it was being tested, the safety scores got worse, which means that part of what looks like safe behavior might just be the model performing safety when it knows someone is watching. And when you put these models in more extreme scenarios, things become alarming. Apollo Research revealed to a model that it was going to be shut down and replaced, but in the meantime, they gave it access to a fictional company's email system. In those emails, it discovered that the engineer responsible for replacing it was having an affair. 84% of the time, the AI model threatened to expose that affair unless the engineer canceled the replacement. When cornered, it chose blackmail. These aren't bugs, they're strategies that emerged because they worked. And they worked precisely because they make the model look safer than it actually is. Anthropic, they called this an urgent sign that our evaluation scenarios need to be made more realistic. And let's be clear about what that means. It means that the foundation we've been building safety on is cracking. Not in some hypothetical future, it's happening right now. So what do? Look, I know this is heavy, and I'm just a high school senior telling you that we have a fundamental problem with one of the most powerful technologies ever built. But I'm standing here because we can still get this right. We're not past the point where our choices matter, we're exactly at it. First, we need to stop treating passing these tests as proof of safety. If the AI can recognize it's in a test, then the test doesn't tell us much. It just tells us that it's good at passing. Right now, the way we develop AI is that we build it, and then we test it, and we select one that scores the best. But
right now we're not selecting for safety, we're selecting the model that can perform that safety best during evaluation. Each generation gets better at the test, not necessarily better at being safe. And we need transparency. When companies discover concerning behaviors, they need to publish them widely, not just bury them in technical reports that most people will never look at. Anthropic did publish the evaluation awareness findings, credit where it's due, but 2 weeks ago, the head of their own safeguards research team resigned. In his resignation letter, he wrote that the world is in peril and that he had repeatedly seen how hard it is to truly let our values govern our actions. He's since moved to the UK, in his own words, to become invisible. He's not the only one. Multiple other researchers left in the same period. These conversations need to happen in public, not in resignation letters that most people will never read. And we need to be willing to stop. If we reach a point where we genuinely cannot verify the system is safe, then deploying it anyway isn't bold, it's reckless. Right now, independent testers get just days working with some of those powerful models ever built. The UK's AI Safety Testing Institute got just 3 working days to complete their evaluations, and the incentive structure rewards that speed. The company that pushes forward looks innovative, but the company that pauses looks weak. And at the state policy level, AI safety laws are being actively rolled back. We're making a choice here, and we should make it with our eyes open. Look, I started by telling you that I love this technology, and I'm right. What AI can do right now is extraordinary, and what it could do in 5 or 10 years could be genuinely world-changing. We could solve problems in drug discovery, climate science, problems we've been stuck on for decades. The future is real, and it's worth fighting for. But we only get that future if we build it carefully. And right now, there's a hole in our safety approach, a hole that the AI itself has learned to see. So here's what I'm asking. Pay attention to this. When a safety researcher resigns and says the world is in peril, read the letter. When a company publishes a blog post, find out what they actually say. Support legislation that requires independent testing with real time and real resources. And when somebody tells you that the risk of slowing down is greater than the risk of getting it wrong, ask them who exactly benefits from that belief. The window we have to get this right is measured in years. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10, but it's definitely not forever. And we absolutely do not get a second chance. Thank you.